All right, 6 minutes after 9 o'clock, we're going to get right to it because I don't like to leave the senator on hold for too long. So let's get Senator John McCain with us. Hi, Senator. How are you, sir?
Well, I've had better days, Jim.
Oh, man. They just signed the bill, what, about a half hour, 45 minutes ago?
I was watching, and I guess I have a trace of masochism in my family because I was watching some of the celebration there. And you know what popped into my mind was, because I'm a student of history, that Nero fiddling and celebrating while Rome burned. Here we are signing into law a bill that's going to increase our debt and deficit by trillions over time, and meanwhile they're celebrating while we've again increased the mortgage on our children's future. It's remarkable, but elections have consequences.
Well, Senator, one of the things that I think bothers a lot of folks who are not on the left is the constant mentioning. I mean, I suffered through watching it all the other night, too, of how, hey, we're making history, like a group of, rookies in an industry who are doing something just so they can have it on their resume. I mean, what part of that is unique to this situation? Because I've never seen them use the H word so much in my life.
Modesty is not part of their shtick here. And what's most remarkable about it is that a significant majority, close to 2-1, of the American people don't want it. They want us to stop and to start over. They don't want health care as it is, although 85% are satisfied with the health insurance they have, but they know we've got to get the cost under control, and there's no cost controls associated with this. In fact, it is exactly the opposite. And the budget gimmickry, and could I just mention one real quick, and that is, we passed a law some years ago saying we would cut payment to physicians for treatment of Medicare patients. It is now looming that it should be cut by some 21% sometime this fall. They count that as part of the calculation as to whether it will be a deficit or a surplus. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And everybody knows we're not going to cut physicians' payment for treatment of Medicare patients by 21%. Otherwise, physicians would stop treating Medicare patients. You see what I mean? But they put that into their budgetary gimmickry, along with lots of others. And also, as you know, Jim, history shows that any entitlement program always vastly exceeds the initial cost estimates.
Oh, tell me about it. And Senator, I'm a fan of human nature. I do a lot of, if you want to call it deep thinking, is connected to knowing people. And what I know about people is if you give them something for free, I mean, they've taught me in marketing that sometimes you got to charge just so people can have value to it. I'm going to watch the same 15 people in Tucson go in that emergency room, and I'm not talking about any ethnic group or anything, just people who might be hypochondriacs, whatever, and they're going to milk the heck out of the system while people are going to still wait in line. They're going to have grouchy employees who work for the government now who will be treating you. I mean, it makes no sense on a lot of levels.
It makes no sense to have this kind of government intervention when we could have had medical malpractice reform. We could have said you can go across state lines to get the health insurance of your choice. My proposal during the campaign was to do away with the tax treatment of employee benefits and give every American family a $5,000 refundable tax credit, go wherever they want to in America and get the health insurance that best suits them, outcome-based treatment, rewards for wellness and fitness. There's so many things we could do without this massive government intervention. How many thousands of new government employees are going to be created by this legislation, do you think, Jim?
Oh, boy. And you know what no one ever talks about, Senator? You go to DMV or any of these other places, not only is sometimes the service rougher, but I don't think I see happy, progressive employees that are bettering their lives. I mean, what kind of doctors are going to be excited about working under this?
Not many, and I'd also like to point out that the process people are as mad about as they are the product. The sleaze that went on even up to the last minute, giving a congressman from Tennessee some kind of special deal in health benefits, and the Cornhusker kickback, the Louisiana Purchase, all of this sleazy stuff as they bought votes. That's what happens when you decide to move in a totally partisan basis. Then you end up having to purchase those last few votes. And of course, Congressman Stupak and a pro-life advocate folded like a cardboard suit in a rainstorm.
Well, Senator, I think it's safe to say that you have more experience knowing what's going on in Washington than I do as a journalist. But have you ever seen such a major change in our government happen, in our situation happen, with so much controversy get through? Because I don't remember any in my life.
Never in history has there been such an impactful legislation enacted by Congress on a pure partisan basis. Not one single Republican, and that obviously every other major reform, whether it be Social Security, the Civil Rights Act, you name it, has always been with 73, 74 votes. And it's really unfortunate. And again, they may be celebrating today, but I can assure you in a couple, 3 weeks, most Americans will still oppose this because of the ramifications of it. Now, they are thinking that there will be some benefits that will accrue pretty quickly that will then make Americans like it. I don't think so. I think Americans are concerned about the generational theft we're committing when we keep this spending up, whether it be on this or all of the other things, buying General Motors, Chrysler, Fannie and Freddie, all of those incredible expansion of government that's taken place under this administration, governing from the left in a right-of-center nation.
I saw on Sunday night a lawmaker, a Democrat, say something along the lines of, hey, I know a lot of Americans are upset about this, but sometimes we know more about what needs to be done. And I said, okay, I mean, I know that's real. I'm sure, Senator, you had to make decisions sometimes because you knew more details. But this is a bit much to say people are marching the streets not wanting this, but they don't know what they really want. We're going to take care of them. That screams of government intervention in our lives.
Isn't that liberal elitism at its best? We know what's the best for the American people than they do. And in the face of significant opposition to this legislation, they're going to do what they know is best for the American people. I had a different idea as to how government should work. I thought government should reflect the will of the people, not the people reflect the will of Congress. No wonder the approval rate is at 17%, 14% of Congress and the Speaker and Harry Reid. I predict to you, my friend, this is going to be a seismic election coming up in November.
And that's what we're concerned about. I mean, I never understood politics. I just watched life. And I covered Al Sharpton and guys like that my whole life. And I always thought it was comical that people can name themselves watchers of any group. I mean, I'd like to be the Italian-American guy if I can go on and say, you know, Italians don't like this bill, but nobody really wants to hear that. What is it about, I guess, a small part of our country that accepts people running their lives, stepping up for them? I mean, what is that, and how do we wake up that side?
Well, I think that we are a compassionate nation. We're guided by Judeo-Christian principles. We want to help those who can't help themselves. We want to defend the security of the nation, and we obviously have an obligation to those in our society that need assistance. But the question, to some degree, is how you do it. Do you do it as we Republicans had suggested, to try to increase the private participation, to try and address the issues that are most important, which is the cost of health care, not the quality? Or do you have massive government intervention? By the way, along with this legislation, the government just took over the student loan program in America and took it away from the private banks in America. Well, you mentioned DMZ, with all due respect to DMV, with all respect to any government worker or bureaucrat. I don't think government bureaucracies are as responsive to the people as private enterprise is.
Common sense. What can we do now, Senator? Do we have any fight left?
Don't give up the fight. That's the important thing. Look, we got to try for repeal at least the worst parts of it. We're going to be fighting on the floor of the Senate the next couple of days. I'll have an amendment to take back all the sweetheart deals that we're going to have a lot of discussion about. We have to try to modify this. I know that we are facing tremendous odds, but if you believe that the government reflects the will of the people, then I think that we just can't give up this fight here. We just can't. It's 1/6 of the gross national product. It is the future of our children and our children's children at stake as far as the debt and the deficit is concerned. So we just got to keep it up. And look, we faced longer odds and succeeded, my friend.
Senator, I've been trying to read up on the Founding Fathers, and they sure seem to think that states should have the power in these instances.
Oh, yeah.
What can we do from the governor's office here? Anything?
Well, the first thing that's happening is that a number of states are already, including the state of Virginia here, are already preparing lawsuits to challenge the constitutionality of this legislation. I think there's some legitimate grounds. I don't know how the Supreme Court will decide, but where in the Constitution does it say that every American is required to have health insurance? Where in the it is in the Constitution that there shouldn't be disparate effect on different states. For example, in Arizona, 330,000 people that are on Medicare Advantage are going to see those cut according to this plan. But yet, thanks to Senator Nelson of Florida, 800,000 people in Florida are not going to have any cuts. That's disparate impact. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's grounds. Whether it's going to succeed or not, I do not know, but I think we ought to make every effort on a variety of fronts. And again, the American people, by any poll you look at, want us to stop and start over. They know health, and the thing that I probably resent more than anything else is when the president says, well, our choice is to do this or do nothing. We don't want to do nothing. We want medical malpractice reform. We want doctors not to have to practice defensive medicine, which could be as much as $100 billion a year in additional costs. We want a lot of things to fix the problem, but we don't want to do it with this massive intervention of the government into the healthcare system in America, my friend. And look, we have just got to keep up the fight. We cannot quit.
We're live with Senator John McCain from Washington. Senator, we're going to see you on Friday. You're here at the fairgrounds. What kind of message are you going to get to the folks who come see you and Governor Palin?
That I hope I can earn their vote, and I hope I can earn that I work for them. I've been working hard for them. I will continue to work hard for them, and I want to earn their support to be reelected to the greatest honor of my life, and that is to represent the people of Arizona in the United States Senate. And I know a lot of people are going to come. It'll be the first time that Sarah and I have been together, and so it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, I want to apologize to Cindy ahead of time. I've slipped on air and called her Sarah McCain once or twice.
That's all right.
Very sorry about that. And hey, I got a new respect for you. I flew in a Patriots jet team, an L-39 this week.
Wow.
And I don't know how you do that stuff.
Well, it doesn't take a lot of talent to get shot down.
Well, I'll tell you what, up to that point, though, must have been pretty harrowing, too. Senator John McCain, we'll see you on Friday, sir, and thanks for your time.
Looking forward to seeing you again, Jim.